Akita senses the tackle coming straight at him and, by instinct, thinks about using his knee to stop it. At that moment, he remembers Miyu's words, warning him that it was a bad idea. Throwing a knee against a takedown almost never works. Even if the strike connected, she explained, it would compromise his balance and make it easier for the opponent to achieve exactly what he wanted. Taking him to the ground, confused, the young man asks what he should do in that situation. Miyu replies that there was an option. Although from a professional fighter's perspective, it was simple, even boring. Back in the present, Akita recalls those words. His opponent tries to grab him behind the knees, but he simply pulls his legs back, surprising him. Without stopping there, he drops his weight onto his opponent to secure the movement and completes a perfect sprawl. The adversary realizes the situation has changed and wonders if Akita was really just an amateur. Even so, he believes Akita won't know what to do after the sprawl, which turns out to be a mistake. Akita prepares his knee and launches a direct strike to the head. At that moment, he understands the difference. It wasn't a knee meant to stop the tackle, but a knee delivered after neutralizing it. After the impact, the young man steps back while his confused opponent tries to understand what just happened. Soon after, blood begins to pour from his head. It is explained that the scalp cuts easily and bleeds heavily. Although Shinonomi did not suffer lethal damage, the amount of blood disorients him and drives him to attack in a rage. His wrestling techniques were genuine, and had he remained calm, he likely would have defeated Akita without much trouble. However, consumed by anger, he leaves openings that the young man freely exploits to counterattack. Thus, the fight ends in a crushing victory for Akita Masamichi. Normally, an amateur could not defeat an experienced fighter regardless of strategy, but due to the brutal training imposed by Rikudo and his constant real fights, even at the cost of his own body, he had begun to refine his violence. After the match, he looks toward the building and wonders how Miyu is doing. The scene changes and shows the young woman out of breath as her opponent asks if she is exhausted. Annoyed by the remark, she charges forward, shouting for him not to underestimate her. She attempts a tackle, but her opponent responds with a flawless sprawl. Surprised, she wonders why he has mastered that technique so well. The young man replies that his brother used to take him down constantly, and he learned to counter it out of pure frustration. However, Miyu begins pushing him forcefully until both crash against the wall. The young man, Shinonome Haru, is a Muay Thai practitioner, a style considered one of the strongest in stand-up combat, because it uses every weapon of the human body. And that ultimate weapon appears in an instant, the elbow. The strike lands directly on Miyu's head, knocking her unconscious. After the first attack, Miyu was struck again. Slightly hurt, she wonders what that was, and her opponent remarks that she's too tough since she won't go down. Still, he asks if it hurt, adding that she's starting to look a bit ugly. With a smile, the woman replies that he's being disrespectful to a lady, and that she'll teach him a lesson. It is then explained that Muay Thai possesses some of the most powerful striking techniques, while wrestling is known for its endurance in combat. In other words, it's a clash between shield and spear. Miyu reflects that she had been bluffing earlier, but now wonders how she's going to win. She knows her tackle will be stopped and that her strikes won't work, admitting to herself that the situation is difficult. She immediately slaps her cheeks and tells herself she has no other choice. She charges forward, considering grabbing and throwing him. She calculates that he will likely counter with an elbow or a knee, but she'll have to endure it. Her opponent comments that he can predict her movements and strikes her with a knee. In that moment, Miyu tells herself to hold on. But she is immediately hit with a kick to the shoulder, forcing her to create distance. However, she notices something. She states that the last move was clumsy. She questions the power behind that attack and realizes that, even though she defended, she still took damage. It is then explained that the mid-level kick in Muay Thai follows a different philosophy from other martial arts. While many disciplines focus on bypassing an opponent's guard to land a hit, Muay Thai instead aims to break the guard itself. Faced with this dilemma, Miyu considers it dangerous to take another hit, as it could leave her arm broken. Even so, she remarks that it was quite a kick, and that it wouldn't even be enough to kill a mosquito. The young man remains silent, then says he can see right through her, calling her grandma. He explains that someone who is injured cannot move freely, and that although she appears calm while speaking, she can't hide the pain. For that reason, he now intends to finish her off with blows, preparing another kick. Seeing this, she shouts that she has no other option, raises her arms, and opens her guard. Her opponent notices immediately and wonders what she is trying to do. And so, she takes the hit. The young man laughs and says her ribs are probably broken. But then he notices something. Miu is smiling. She replies that it doesn't matter, leaving the boy visibly nervous. The fighter shouts that now it's her turn, and with a twist of her body, she grabs the young man's leg and executes a move that slams his head against the ground. The boy cries out in pain in his leg, left unable to continue. Then Miu declares that they tear each other apart every day, that she's used to injuries, and tells him not to underestimate fighters. Akita looks at his opponent lying on the ground and immediately starts thinking about what to do. He considers that there are 20 people, led by Bartleby, and that all of them are after him and Miu. So far, he has defeated 9, but half of them still remain. To make matters worse, he is starting to feel weak from exhaustion and his injuries. He believes escaping is the best option, but he cannot leave Miu like that. Then he wonders how he will be able to reunite with her now. At that moment, a body falls beside him, startling the young man. He immediately asks what that was. Looking closer at the face, he comments that it is the guy from before, and asks if he was not supposed to be fighting Miu. Then he wonders if she was the one who threw him, raising his gaze and finding her there. At that moment, the woman says that she had already said she wanted to do it, but was stopped by the group. Then she shouts at the drone nearby to make sure it records her properly. Akita, watching all of this, wonders what she is doing. He even doubts whether she is really going to do it. Then Miu jumps from where she was standing, leaving both her partner and one of her opponents shocked. Before he can react, the enemy is struck by Miu. The student wonders if she actually died. However, Miu quickly gets back up, frightening the young man. The woman asks how that was and confidently says that, without a doubt, it was a magnificent hit, an absolute victory for Miu-chan. Akita reflects that they probably could have defeated them without doing something like that, and that it scares him that she does such reckless things just for attention. After that, Miu tells Akita that she is ready for the next opponent. This makes the young man wonder if she is still in a good mood even after all of that. But right at that moment, someone appears. It is Bartleby, something that surprises Akita and makes Miu ask if he is alone. The man replies that they truly surprised him, since he did not expect the Shinonome siblings to be defeated so easily, and on top of that, in such a spectacular way. He immediately declares that, in truth, they are really interesting. He begins to walk slowly and, once standing in front of Miu, states that it makes him very angry. After a few seconds, the woman attacks him, but the man manages to dodge. That surprises Akita, since he managed to do it while standing so close to the fighter. Right away, she charges again to attempt a takedown. But he moves quickly, jumps over her, and makes her even angrier. Bartleby, now in a perfect position, asks if many people have seriously fallen for that before. Then he declares that she is very slow and old. That statement enrages her even more, and she shouts that the two of them are going to crush him. Akita reflects that it would be 2 against 1 and feels it is a little unfair, but then remembers that it was exactly what Bartleby had been doing before. So, both of them begin attacking, but the man manages to dodge every strike. Because of one mistake, Miu loses her balance and falls to the ground. She wonders who he is, while Akita notes that their attacks are not managing to reach him. Then the man comments that he is someone very skilled at defense, and that it is a shame to give them this news. But nothing interesting will happen here. It is then that Akita launches an attack, but Bartleby dodges with ease. This makes the young man realize that he is very good at defending himself. The masked man asks if they are done attacking already, and Miu tells him to stop dodging. This prompts the man to ask why they cannot land even a single hit, claiming they should have had plenty of chances while he was defending himself. Miu, even angrier now, asks if he is underestimating them. But their opponent quickly replies that he is not, since in the end they were the ones who defeated the Shironomi brothers. He then asks if it would not be more fun if he started striking back. Hearing that, the woman says he is talking nonsense. However, Akita stops her and calls out to Bartleby, asking why he is so determined to destroy Mitsuhara and why he hates him so much. But the masked man asks why he cares to know that. At that very moment, Mitsuhara had been watching everything and shouts that he wants to know as well, complaining that he does not remember doing anything that would make people hate him. Bartleby then replies that it is not such a deep reason, explaining that it is because he is Mitsuhara's son. That leaves everyone shocked, and the masked man points out that his mother and Mitsuhara were not married. Meanwhile, the strange man wonders who it was and guesses which of the women it might have been. His secretary asks if he really had that many options. In any case, Bartleby reveals that his mother loved Mitsuhara, and although she received a large amount of money, she wanted his father to pay more attention to her. But Mitsuhara was obsessed with his work, so much so that he could not even stay in touch. So his mother thought she would use her son to make him interested in her. He points out that Mitsuhara's interests cover many genres, but the main one is violence. Because of that, he was taught many martial arts from a young age, and all of them produced decent results. However, that alone was not enough, since Mitsuhara never showed any interest in him. As time passed, his mother also lost interest and abandoned him. Fortunately, the relatives who took him in were good people, and he lacked nothing in life after that. But when he saw the advertisement for the No Rules event, he was forced to look at Mitsuhara's face again. He thought his life would not truly begin until he destroyed that man. After hearing everything, Miyu says it is a strange story, but Akita comments that he found it moving. Bartleby laughs and says it is already too late. In truth, he had no intention of telling that story, and it would not have come out so easily if it were a lie. In any case, he thanks them for keeping him company, while he bought time. He claims they could have defeated him if they had ignored the conversation and attacked immediately, and that is a shame. At that moment, his companion reveals that he gathered those who had already recovered, and in total there are 14 of them. Bartleby thanks him for the job well done. He adds that they are enough to deal with 2 severely injured fighters, and of course this time he will not let them escape. Since in the end, numerical violence is on his side, and in the future he will destroy Mitsuhara in the same way. Seeing that, Miyu tells Akita to run. She says she cannot do that, and if she runs away while leaving a high school student alone, no one will ever support her again. She adds that at the very least, she will die with style. Akita calls out to her and says he is sorry to interrupt her determination, but that will not be necessary, revealing that they had also been buying time. At that moment, someone arrives, and one of Bartleby's men says that woman broke one of his teeth, and that he will make her pay for what she did. But someone taps the young man on the shoulder, only for him to be struck immediately. That catches everyone's attention, and when they look at the person who caused it, they wonder who that old man is. To which the gentleman replies that he is simply a middle-aged man.
ありがとう。ありがとうみんな。ありがとう。ありがとう。ありがとう。ありがとう。ありがとう。